truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
State and spell your first and last name for the course.
Officer Smith-Holt, Smith-Holt.
Officer,
You can call me Holt.
were you formerly Officer Holt?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Have you gotten married since April of 2015?
Divorced.
Okay. Apologize. And can you tell the jurors how you are currently employed?
I'm employed with the City of Atlanta Police Department as an officer.
And how long have you been employed with the City of Atlanta Police Department?
13 years.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, in your 13 years, where within the police department have you been assigned to work?
I was assigned in Zone 4, then Zone 2, and now I'm in Open Records.
Okay. And back on April 28, 2015, can you tell the jurors what zone were you assigned to?
Zone 4.
Okay. And can you briefly you've heard about Zone 3 and where it is within the City of Atlanta. Where is Zone 4 contained?
Southwest Atlanta.
Okay. Can you help kind of orient the jurors and kind of explain to them, give them a landmark or a common place that helps you recognize?
If you're familiar with the Cascade area, Campbellton Road area, that's good. Okay.
And can you tell the jurors how long did you work as an officer in Zone 4?
Probably about 5 years.
Okay. And during those 5 years, and back on April 28th of 2015, can you tell the jurors what hours or what shift did you work as a patrol officer in Zone 4?
Mainly morning watch. Shift would be from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Okay. And can you describe to the jurors when you were on duty working 11 p.m. Into early morning 7 a.m., what was your primary job responsibilities and duties while working as a patrol officer in Zone 4?
Answering 911.
Okay. And would you answer specific calls, or did you answer all calls that you were dispatched to within Zone 4 or somewhere else within the City of Atlanta?
All calls.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors back on April 28th, 2015, at around 5 a.m., were you dispatched to the address of 2900 Landrum Drive?
Yes, that's correct.
And can you tell the jurors, is that here within the City of Atlanta, Fulton County?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And I want to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibits 1, Delta, 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 O through 4, Delta, 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 O. Just take a second and just take a look at these and let me know if you recognize them.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can you tell the jurors how you recognize the photographs in State Exhibit 1, Delta, Delta, O through 4, Delta, Delta, O?
This was the call I was dispatched to, 2900 Landrum Drive. I was dispatched to a person shot call.
Okay. And you said that this was around 5 a.m. that morning?
Yes.
And do the photographs in 1, Delta, 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 O through 4, Delta, Delta, O, do they fairly and accurately depict how the address, the apartment complex at 2100 Landrum Drive looked back on April 28th, 2015, roughly around 5 a.m.?
Yes.
This time around in the statement tender was to mark the State Exhibit 1, DDDO through 4, DDDO.
Those are admitted.
Now, Officer Smith, can you tell the jurors when you arrived to the apartment complex, do you remember the name of the complex?
I believe it's Crystal. something.
We'll put on the
Oh,
screen.
Eagles list, okay.
1DDD, does that help you recall what apartment complex you responded to back in zone 4?
The sign looks familiar, but I don't remember the name exactly. Yes.
On the screen, you have it in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell the jurors what the sign says in front of the complex at 2900 Landers Drive?
Eagles Nest Apartments.
And in the photos that you looked at and that are now admitted into evidence behind it in 2DDDO through 4DDDO, is that the apartment, is the area within the complex that you responded to?
Yes.
Okay. And you said you responded to a person shot call?
Yes, that's correct.
And can you tell the jurors when you responded to that person shot call, what were the first things that you kind of did as related to that call?
Well, as I approached, I, of course, notified radio, and I proceeded to the apartment where the person was shot.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, without telling me what the person said, was it a male, female?
It was a female.
Okay. And do you recall the name of the female that was shot?
I believe it's Miss Kilpatrick.
Okay. And when you arrived, did you have the opportunity to interact with the female Miss Kilpatrick who had been shot?
Yes.
And can you describe, tell me what she said,
Okay.
what the interaction was like, what you did as it related to assisting Miss Kilpatrick with her gunshot?
I was able to ask her where she was injured and what she was doing while she was injured.
And were you able to actually see, as you interacted with her, where she was actually shot?
I believe I recall seeing where she was injured, but not the details of her injury.
Okay. Can you tell the jurors if you remember where you saw that she had been injured or shot?
Right leg.
Okay. And your first interactions with her, was she conscious, alert, able to speak to you?
Yes.
Okay. And as you were there, did medical assistance or EMS arrive and begin to provide medical assistance to Ms. Kilpatrick?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And while on scene, while Ms. Kilpatrick was being treated, was she eventually loaded into an ambulance and transported to Brady Hospital?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And were you, I guess, can you tell the jurors, after your interaction with Ms. Kilpatrick, what did you do next as it related to your investigation to the person shot call that early morning?
I spoke to her mother. She gave me details on the damages to the apartment.
Okay.
And then I recall radio telling me that other apartments were affected as well.
Do you recall how many other apartments were affected as it relates to the shooting that early morning?
3 other apartments.
Okay. And in your review of your report prior today, do you recall what building Ms. Kilpatrick was in when she was shot, and what you just described, you were able to see the damage to her apartment as well?
She was in building 15.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, within this apartment complex, you got building 15, do you know how many buildings were, I guess, contained within the Eagles Nest apartment complex?
Total? I'm not sure in total. I believe it went all the way up to the 20s.
Okay. So it was a fairly large apartment complex?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall, when you go into the apartment complex, how far you have to travel in order to get to building 15 that you just described?
I don't believe I have to travel far, no.
Okay. And as you said, you heard over the radio other apartments in either that building or other buildings have been damaged, is that what you said?
Yes.
Can you tell the jurors where those 3 other reported apartments that have been shot were located in relation to building 15?
If I'm recalling correctly, they're all lined next to each other.
Okay.
There's 15, 16, and 19. I believe they're all lined together. if my recollection is correct.
And because we have a little technical difficulties, I'm going to go old school and for the record as well as for defense counsel, I'm showing 4DDDO to the jurors. Now, Officer Smith, do all the buildings look the same pretty much?
Yes.
Okay. And if Ms. Kilpatrick, she lived in building 15.
That's correct.
Can you tell the jurors the other buildings that you, as a part of your investigation, went to where the other apartments had been damaged? I think you said 3.
Yes. So the second apartment I went into, that was also in building 15.
Okay.
The third apartment was in 16, and then the last apartment was in building 19. Excuse me. Thank you.
And in any of the apartments in the buildings you just described, so 15, 16, and 19, was anybody else within those apartments, had they, like Ms. Kilpatrick, received an actual gunshot wound?
No.
Okay. And while you were on scene, can you tell the jurors, after locating and observing and doing your investigation related to the damage to those apartments, while on scene, did you locate any evidence of gunfire, ballistics evidence, like shell casings or projectiles?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors a little bit about what kind of ballistics evidence you located and where within the area we described in the building 15, 16, and 19 you found it?
I can recall several shell casings within those apartments. I can recall some walls, windows being shot. That's all I really can remember. I'm sorry.
When you say within those apartments, tell the jurors the shell casings located outside or inside?
Ooh, I'm sorry. I can't really recall it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
While you were on scene, Officer Smith, did crime scene tech Green and other members of the crime scene tech division arrive to kind of process and photograph the scene like routinely?
Yes.
Okay. And were you present during the processing and photographing?
Yes.
And is it common for officers and investigators to work in conjunction or with the crime scene tech that shows up in the division? If it's more than one tech?
Yes.
Okay. And is it common you walk the scene and things of that nature because you've already done it?
Yes.
And Officer Smith, after you arrived to the apartment complex at 2900 Langwood Drive and did your investigation you described here before the jurors today, did you take part or did you have any other roles within the investigation?
No.
Well, thank you for your time. Any further questions?
Defense
Thank
questions?
Yeah, Mr. Williams, no questions.
All right, anybody else? None? No, no, okay. All right, thank you for your time. You are excused. Call your next witness.